Chris Smith, the Green candidate.
Thanks to the other candidates. Well, it's a great honour to be here today representing the Green Party, because we're a group of people that share a worldview that we face the same challenges on a local and global level. We're actually the fourth biggest political party in the UK, and we think of ourselves as a natural home for progressive politics. So we do stand for social justice, equality and unity through policies around the idea of ecology, that we all live on one planet together. And it's a really noble cause for me, with responsible policies, responsibility at the heart of our policies. It seems that really politics has become about maintaining the status quo, wealth for the few, not for the many, and we've seen such a huge rise in the gap between rich and poor over the last couple of decades. So inequality, injustice and intolerance are really the driving forces behind much of the problems we face today. So why are the Greens different, and can we really achieve anything? Well, in this borough of Newham, we do see enormous inequality in areas such as child poverty, housing and wages, and these obviously affect everyone in our community, regardless of race, religion or sexuality. So we're the only major political party that opposed the public service cuts. Labour actually said they would have matched what the Conservatives are doing had they got back into power. And the reason we oppose them is because we know that reducing investment in our society is only going to actually create more problems. It's not going to solve them. We're only just at the very start of this process, so God knows what's going to happen in another decade. But basically, in my view, the decades of ill-advised policies from the former governments led us to a point where we had the riots last year, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that happening if the Tories are allowed to continue their doctrine of divide and rule between wealthy and poor people. Very simple. So in terms of the wealth and the financial gap, we want to see an end to the casino banking, and we want to see the end of deregulation of the banking sector, which led to the current crisis. The reason this has happened is from the 80s onwards, all the regulations they put in place after the Great Depression started being undone. And the reason they put them in after the Great Depression was to stop another Great Depression. Funnily enough, you take the regulations away, we have another Great Depression. So it's actually pretty simple. You don't need a degree in economics or politics to understand that. So some of the more simple ways we think we can address the gap between rich and poor. We'd like to extend the London living wage, which is something the Greens originated at London Assembly, and we want to develop it into a fair pay mark for companies, so companies can actually demonstrate they're paying a fair wage. In education, we of course support free tuition at universities, because we need a diversity of studying to have a balanced and productive society. People need to be able to study and be educated for the sake of education, not just so they can end up being lawyers, bankers and accountants, which is what the current government seems to just want to generate. We also do back the reintroduction of the EMA. 600,000 students were receiving that before. So in terms of the more traditional green issues, we do need to provide a safer and cleaner environment for everyone. There's over 4,000 deaths in London from air pollution-related illnesses. So we really need to become more of a people, not car-centric city. The Greens have a proposal to reduce traffic through a road pricing system, and the money that would generate would not only help us reduce fares, but it would also increase investment in public transport. Now, we also know that low living standards cause breakdowns in our community, and in Newham, someone on an average wage paying an average rent is paying up to 55% of their salary just to pay for somewhere to live. On top of that, some people are paying up to 27% of their salary on fares to get to work. So we do need to see much more done about housing, social housing being built with real affordable rents, and also using our housing stock better. I mean, in Tower Hamlets, where I live, there are over 800 housing association properties empty last year. 800 places sitting empty when there are tens of thousands of people on the waiting list. So what have Greens done? On the London Assembly, Greens have helped secure the city's largest home insulation programme, and we want to see 1 million homes given much better insulation, which will help people lower their bills and also lower our contribution to climate change. We secured the tripling of the London cycling budget, and we also led calls for investigations into dangerous junctions where cyclists have died, which is something Boris Johnson refused to look at until the public roar was so loud. So they're finally actually reviewing some of those dangerous junctions. For any of us who are in the LGBT community, it might be also worth noting the Greens introduced the Civil Partnership Register when they started at City Hall, and that's now become Civil Partnerships in Law. So across local communities, Greens have done things like introduce 20-mile-an-hour zones. We've successfully campaigned to stop unaffordable housing developments, and we've also done our best to stop the spread of franchise stores which kind of blight our high streets. You know, Starbucks in every corner. It might bring some local employment, but it doesn't really give much back to the community. So my view is really this: we can either choose to heal our society or we can keep it in pain. You know, as Einstein said, the minds that created the problem can't possibly solve it. It seems many of the politicians I've seen today seem to be living in the problem and not the solution. So we need to really break up creative denial about the challenges we face and work together in a common cause. In our society today, some are guilty, all are responsible. You know, we all have a responsibility. So why don't we work together to help Londoners flourish, whatever their age, gender, race, religion or sexuality. Let's support our high streets and local entrepreneurs who can create real jobs to sustain our communities, and let's invest in real jobs and training instead of betting on banks and airports to bring about unnatural wealth. So I'd like to ask us all really to try and give everybody a fair chance to create a quality of life for themselves, and each of us to face up to our responsibilities to make it happen. Thanks very much.